Hey Leo, this is your tarot reading for the month of August. Leo, um, this month I'm picking up on a lot of growth, growing pains. Uh, I feel like some of you got something that you really wanted, manifested something that you really wanted, but it's too much responsibility. It's too much of a burden to carry. It's too much responsibility. And a lot of y'all didn't count up the cost. Leos can be very superficial. Leos like to keep up with the Joneses. Leos like things for the effect of it, how it looks. And plans things out and has desires like based in fantasy and illusion instead of what's real. And a lot of the times that ends up coming to bite Leos in the ass. And I'm picking up this month that's what's going on. Some of you just have a really bad habit of getting yourself into things that you didn't count the cost of. And you get into these things because of how they look or the proximity to certain things, the proximity to status, the proximity to money, the proximity to influence. And as long as those things are attached to it, y'all don't necessarily count up the cost. And I feel like some of you know that. I feel like some of you are realizing that you bit off a little more than you could chew. And some of you have a feeling like that whatever this thing is that you have now, whether it's a job or a relationship, whatever it is, it's not sustainable for you. And some of you feel that. Some of you feel like you may have to walk away from this or cut your losses and bow out because this is just not physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially sustainable for some of you. I feel like y'all need to be clearer in what you intend, and I say this all the time. Like I said, this is a hard pill for Leos to swallow, but I feel like this is like something that you guys are going through of like really making sure you're clear on what you intend and really understanding what that is, what intention is, and really understanding like why you do the things you do. I feel like this month, some of you, this situation is like humbling to some of you, but in a good way. Some of you are realizing that you need to go back to the drawing board. Like some of you are going to go back, like, you know what, instead of all this glamour and material things like that, everything that I want to do is rooted in. Some of you are just going to go back to remembering what you always wanted to do when you were a child. Some of you are just going to go back to the drawing board and really remember or reminisce on something that you really wanted to do when you were a kid. And it may be different from everything that you've been doing as an adult. This is going to, like I said, bring you some clarity, bring you some more understanding, and root you into your purpose and why you're here. Some of you, when you were a kid, like you might have always wanted to be a teacher, or some of you wanted to be a veterinarian working with animals. And some of you may start looking into that, or something that you always wanted to do when you were a child. I feel like some of you also I feel like some of you are just dealing with fear. like somebody when you were a kid probably talked you out of something, or made you afraid of something that you always wanted to do, or convinced you that you couldn't do it for whatever reason. And that's, like I said, some of you are going back to that, to, like I said, getting back to who you are and what you are here to do. Some of you may be asking yourself that question, like, what am I really here to do? Like, I'm not liking what I'm doing. I thought I would. It's my dream job. I always wanted to do this. I always wanted to have this. And now that you have it, some of you are just like really trying to figure out like who you really are on the inside, and why you're here, your divine purpose. For some of you, you may be so overwhelmed and overworked that you may end up in the hospital, or needing to check into just some type of somewhere where you can get the rest and healing that you need. Or somebody may move in with you to help care for you while you rest and try to get yourself back together. And during this time of rest, I said that this is what's going to be on some of your minds, like the things you always wanted to do, and not the things you want to do because everybody else was doing it. And again, this is going to give you new hope for the future, new inspiration, new dreams, new goals. And this will get some of you out of that feeling of failure or being too hard on yourself. This is a learning lesson. I don't feel like any of you failed. I feel like you guys succeeded, but you're learning that to define what success is for yourself. Yeah, some of you are redefining what success and prosperity is. Some of you are just really getting into, like, I just really feel like y'all are just like stepping into this new phase of your life. Like I said, this may have manifested, this may not have. Some of you, it may. And I feel like some of you feel like you're headed in this direction. Like some of you are just starting to see that, like I said, you bit off more than you can chew. And whatever time of rest that ends up coming from this, use it. Also, I really feel you guys, some of you also maybe being burnt out, fighting for certain things. Some of you maybe even like a social justice warrior. Some of you may be really actively like fighting against like the issues with women's rights, fighting against people trying to make you feel like you shouldn't have options, you shouldn't have choices, fighting against people trying to make you feel stuck. And like I said, I've been saying this even like last month, but there are definitely going to be some developments to those things that are going to I guess shock certain people. I think certain people are, like I said, are really feeling like religious rule or religious tyranny. Some people don't see it that way. Some people really feel like it's the divine order of things, and not really doing their research into how the church has been one of the most corrupt institutions on the fucking planet. And some of you may be a part of that work. Some of you may know this and may be actively like on the front lines fighting for women's rights, and you're burnt out and you need rest. So that you can get back to doing, to fighting this fight. And for some of you may realize that's the thing that you were born to do, and you will dive right in to the front lines. And for some of you, it would have been something you would have never done. But like I said, some of you are growing. Some of you you know, the past couple years have really changed you in many, many ways and in many, many levels. And some of you, like I said, are getting clear on why you're here and what you're supposed to do. Yeah, Leo, for a lot of you, it's time for a lot of you to move on from certain things or to let go of certain things. It's time for some of you to be rebellious. It's time for some of you to stop always going along to get along, or always trying to fit in. Some of you are more mature. Some of you are awakening. And there's a rebellious spirit being stirred up in you. Some of you are no longer happy to, just like I said, just to go along, just to get along. Some of you are finding your voice. Some of you are finding your purpose. But make sure you are taking care of yourself, Leo. Make sure you are taking care of your health. Make sure you are getting the rest that you need. And for those of you that are fighting for rights, please remember to take care of yourself. You can't defend anybody if you're not healthy and able to do it. Health is wealth. So take care of yourselves, Leo. And again, this is a general reading, but if any of this resonated with you in any way, please feel free to hit me up for a more personal, private, detailed reading. And please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.